Hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, this just would not be as much fun, and I'd have a lot less people to talk to. So I want to thank each and every one of you all out there for joining the Joe Boo Sports Report. I see Sarah's already here, Cyberlink, Snap Johnson, Thea Simmons, Jonathan, Marcellus, Aisha. Good grief. The stream is rolling so quick I can't keep up. John Montgomery, Aisha, Byron. Wow, I'm just having, it's going to be one of those nights. Well, as always, I'm glad everybody is here tonight. I see even Sven from Germany is there. We are growing like crazy, and I have to thank each and every one of you guys. And like I pointed out last time, we have actually taken football and NFL. You might want to give me a cut because I am spreading football across the globe. We're talking Croatia, Guam, Greece, Ghana, Egypt, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Chechnya. Who knew anybody in Chechnya liked football? You know, we've got Cowboy fans in Cuba. And hey, Cuba, shout out. Your cigars are definitely the best. And I've got some here that I am saving special for Joe Boo, hopefully for the Super Bowl. So let's get right to it tonight. It's the first day of practice. Practice has literally just ended for the Dallas Cowboys. And, of course, the news right now is Lucky Whitehead has fallen out of grace last year and now has gone from the Cowboys. And I'm kind of sad about that because Lucky is actually grew up basically 15 miles from where I am right now. But when you do stupid stuff, I can't help you. The whole thing is just crazy. I mean, it literally blows my mind. I mean, this is kind of like Jameis Winston, who supposedly took a couple pounds of shrimp from the store. And supposedly they were supposed to be giving it to him, and he says that's what he says. And of course they're like, no, we didn't give it to you. You just kind of walked out with it. But there's a big difference between being Jameis Winston and Lucky Whitehead, who had some issues that we still don't know with the team. We do know he was suspended last year from the team for one of the games and stuff, and his play had tailed off. So the writing was already on the wall for Lucky because we got Ryan Switzer. And Ryan Switzer is the new hot thing for the Dallas Cowboys. So, unfortunately, he's gone. The thing that kind of bugs me, and believe me, if you mess up, football is a privilege. It's not a right, it's a privilege. And for him to mess up, you have to make a stand and say, okay, you got to go. However, justice isn't fair and equal to everyone. Lucky's not the first one to mess up on this team. We had Nolan Carroll to begin with, drunk driving. Now, Nolan Carroll came from someplace else and, had the drunk driving and so on. We don't know how long he's going to be suspended for. We got Damian Wilson, who, if the reports are accurate, where he said basically his words got him into trouble and he got pissed off enough that he wanted to hit the woman with his truck. And I can understand how things escalate because in the heat of a moment, shit happens. You lose your cool. I'm sure he wanted to park there, and they were like, no, go someplace else. You're blank to blank, not knowing he's a Dallas Cowboy player or anything like that. And it just escalated because we've all been in situations, where you say something and they say something, and then you say something and they say something. All of a sudden, you say, what? It happens. People that you love, things happen and it gets out of control. It's the heat of the moment. However, when you play football, especially for the Dallas Cowboys, you are under microscope. You can't get away with things that you can elsewhere. Now, Lucky, walking out of a Wawa with $25 worth of stuff, which isn't much. It's chump change. In the Washington Redskins' backyard? I know it's your hometown, but dude, ain't no love for the Cowboys 15 minutes from their training facility. And I'm saddened by that. I know his principal. from all reports, from everything I've heard, that he's a good guy, gives back, and things like that. However, heat of the moment, something stupid, and it happens. So hopefully, Lucky can get this turned around. Maybe find it someplace else with another team because I wish him well. But you can't ignore a situation. Maybe had he not ignored it and went to court, it would have been swept under the rug. You got to take care of business, flat out. Now, like I said, practice just ended for the Cowboys, and we're going to switch cameras here. And up here on the TV, you probably can't see it too good because it's kind of small, but you should be able to at least hear the sound of Dez Bryant.
Total Access presented by Dr. Scholl's Pro. The first practice of training camp for the
End of practice
here in Oxnard, California is in the books. Dez Bryant signing autographs for a horde of fans that showed up for practice here today. Jay Slater caught up with the Cowboys star wide receiver just moments ago. Jay?
I know you and Lucky Whitehead were particularly close. What did you think about the news today?
Oh man, I just couldn't believe it. I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm not gonna judge him. I pray that it's not true, and I understand he got cut. What's best for him.
What did he mean to this team? What did he bring to the locker room?
He brought a lot of excitement. All the guys love him. It's something that was new to all of us. It's all the way out of our hands, but Lucky, he just brought the life to it. With his dance moves and. He always had everybody laughing, cracking up. We're going to miss that.
Do you think that this is sending a message to the team?
I would say so. I'm trying to do something special there, I really don't have that much room to talk, but, even though I had a legit deal, the reason why I missed, I still should have been there, but I wasn't, and we handled it, but at the same time, I understand what Derek, trying to do, and gotta take care of business.
For people that question your dedication to this team,
kind of like hearing what he's saying.
What would you say to them?
Man, everybody in this organization knows what's up with me. They know I love this football team. Me personally, I feel like nobody left the Star more than me. That's not a shot directly to nobody. That's just how I feel. I love Star. I always loved it, and I love the fans, and I put my all out for them. I don't care if I'm injured. I'm trying my best to get out there and play. That's how it's always been. I love Dallas. I love this place. I just love everything about it. I love the coaches. I love Jerry Jones. I love Steven. I love everybody around this place. I work for them.
What went into your offseason?
Okay, so Dez loves everybody. I'm glad to hear that. He loves the organization. He respects what they did and sent the message. That's the first time I've heard that whole part. I actually enjoy what he's saying, but before I get to those thoughts,
What a hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about that, Cowboys?
Thank you, Jukebox. He just reminded me that Joe Boo needs a refill. And since we are in training camp, we're going to go ahead and do one of Joe Boo's blue shots here. We're going to go ahead and take some coconut rum. And I can't pronounce the hell. What the hell is this? It's the blue liquor, okay? The blue sweet liquor. Blue Sriracha, Karachko, Kaka. I don't know what it is, but it actually tastes really good. So if you want a Joe Boo Cowboy shot, take the blue liquor and some coconut rum, and I'm telling you, it's great. So, Juicebox, thank you for reminding me that Joe Boo needs a refill. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and get myself one here, too. And fortunately, I am finally over that cold, or just about, at the point where I don't need to drink tea. How is the funding coming along? Well, with the support of all you guys showing up and watching videos and things are actually going really, really well. There's a lot of things that I'm actually working on behind the scenes that you guys don't know about to improve the show and do a whole bunch of different things. In fact, we're going to have a different look in the set here. We're actually going to have a second place we're going to be doing videos and things and stuff. So it's all coming on real good, and looks like we are going to be at training camp, I believe on the 9th of August, the 10th, and we're going to go to the Ram game. Me and Michael, we're going to be there spreading the mojo, and hopefully some of you guys will get a chance to meet you talk to you, and get you on the Joe Boo Sports Report. So thank you, Juicebox, for the super chat. And if I miss anybody's super chat, it's not intentional. There's a lot to do when you're running the whole set. I've got this computer I have to look at. I got to take care of Joe Boo, and I'm reading your comments, and they are literally flying through. So with that said, let's get back to some of your questions here. We got Corey, we got J Stars, Ricardo, Game Changer, Green Dan. How you doing tonight, Green Dan? Odell Princess Jr. Oh lordy, the giant trolls are in the house. Banter, James R.
One hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about this, Cowboys?
Thank you, James R. Everybody who's done a super chat and all that, I appreciate that because everything that I end up raising goes right back in the show. And speaking of raising stuff, Bruce Rogers, Harvey Springer, and Michael Jackson, your gear went out this morning. So before Friday, you should have your shot glasses. Well, Michael Jackson, I'm not sure where yours went because it's military, so it's somewhere overseas, I'm assuming. Wherever you are, Michael, stay safe and keep your head down. I think it was Michael's was the one that went overseas, but one of the packages went overseas to somebody in the military, so I appreciate the support. Thank you for keeping us safe, and be safe over there. So all of your stuff is in the mail, and actually the prize winners of the shot glasses, I think I got your guys' stuff out on Friday, so you should be receiving that as well soon. So thank everybody for the support. But back to Lucky. You got Dez Bryant basically saying, yeah, well, maybe that is a message that's being sent out to everybody. And we're trying to do something special. They're recognizing that the window of opportunity is not that big. You may think that you've got years and years and years. Look at Dan Marino. He thought he was going to be going back to Super Bowls after Super Bowls, after a second year going to one. But the chances are it's not always that way unless you're in New England. So you got to take care of business this year. And unfortunately, we're still dealing with a lot of stuff. We have the question marks with Zeke Elliott. Jerry Jones says he's looked at the evidence and says there's nothing there. Although with stuff that you see from Jerry Jones, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Because like I always say, Jerry's over here being Jerry, and the rest of the team and the business is being taken care of over here. He is kind of like the lightning rod for the team. He takes, wow.
One hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is,
thank you, Massive G. Jerry Jones is the lightning rod that kind of takes the hit and the focus off of everybody else. In a way, that's kind of what Bill Parcells used to do. Bill Parcells would end up being the guy that would keep the pressure off the teammates and things like that. And that's one of those things I kind of like. A coach who owns up to saying, buck stops here. I'm the one in charge. If something's wrong, blame me. I don't necessarily see that all the time with Jason Garrett because in all the offseason issues that we've had, we've heard very little from Jason Garrett. I like a guy who's in charge and lets you know, I am in charge, and this is what we're going to do, and this is not acceptable. So that is what it is. He is what we got as far as a coach, and there's not much we can do about it, at least until the end of the season. So we've got that situation to deal with. We have Jourdan Lewis, whose case actually started today. They picked the jury. He'll be testifying tomorrow, so he's not in camp right now. And I'm going to call this one Pillowgate. Now, I don't know how much you guys have gotten. The way the story goes, and I've said this before, there's three sides to every argument. If you're married or have a significant other, there's going to be times where you're not going to agree. And sometimes it's about stupid stuff. Me and my wife, my second wife here, my beautiful wife that you guys saw in the video there yesterday, we almost got divorced over paint color. That's right, paint color. We got into the biggest argument over paint color. Because I pick colors, and I think I'm pretty good at it. I do. I'm not gay. I'm not gay, but I do pretty good at decorating things and picking out colors. So when we did the basement down here, this color actually has a hint of gray in it for my Dallas Cowboys. Just a hint. But you don't want to go too dark because it is actually a basement. So when we did this room down here, we bought the house and we started working upstairs. And she's like, I'm going to pick the colors up here because you picked the colors down there. I'm like, okay. And our living room is kind of long and narrow. And she picked this color that was the same color as the sofa. And I said, honey, it's not the right color. It's going to feel like a cave. It's too dark. You don't know what you're talking about. I said, I'm telling you. She said, it's okay because I don't want you to paint anyway because you don't paint that good to begin with. Cool. So then she went to Walmart and bought the paint and proceeded to start putting it on. And she realized, I just kind of kicked back. Okay. I was kicking back and watching. She put it on and she said, oh, they didn't mix the right color. You mean the color I told you wasn't the right color to begin with? So she went back, got it checked, came back, started painting again, painted some more. And she said, it's just not going on right. Maybe you need to put it on. I was like, okay. So I went ahead, painted the whole room, knew it was going to be terrible and hideous. Put it on. She looked at it and said, it's ugly. You pick a color. Okay. So then it came to our bathroom downstairs. I said, I'm going to pick the color. I said, okay. Well, that bathroom has been painted green, gray, yellow, blue, and it's finally red. Because I just kicked back. I was just like, I'm not going to do this. Whatever you say. So now, we don't argue about color. I pick the colors. From now on, she just kind of goes to me. But when we were in the heat of the moment, we were pissed off at each other and like literally different sides of the house. In the heat of the moment, things happen. So back to Jourdan Lewis. Supposedly, Jourdan was asleep. His girlfriend came home and said, you left the lights on. You're wasting money. I can agree with that. You don't want to be sleeping with the lights on. You are wasting pennies unless you got LED light bulbs, which save a lot less. So maybe they had LEDs, it wouldn't have been such an issue. So they got into an argument. He said he went to the closet to get his clothes and just go. I don't feel like listening to this. I'm just leaving. She said he went to the closet and started banging on the wall and was pissed off and everything. So she went and checked on him to see if he's okay. And then he proceeded to hit her 3 times hard with a pillow. And then she says he drug her across the floor and threw her into a coffee table and then left. He says, I didn't want to fight. I was in the closet trying to get dressed. I just wanted to go. Mouth started running. I just pushed her aside so I could go past and leave. Now, somewhere in the middle there is the whole story. We got in a fight about the lights being left on. The heat of the moment. Shit happens. I don't know how hard he hit her with the pillows. I don't know if he drug her across the floor. I don't know. But maybe he did. But I can guarantee you that she didn't just go, honey, are you okay? I can guarantee you, knowing my wife and a lot of other women, that when you're in the heat of the moment, no, you're going to listen to what I said. You're not going to be leaving. You're going someplace. You're going to keep your behind here and you're going to listen. Heat of the moment. Stuff escalates. Shit happens. Not saying it's right. I hope he didn't lay any hands on her. I don't know. I wasn't there. You weren't there. There's only 2 people that were there. Him and her. But hopefully we'll have a conclusion to this tomorrow or Wednesday. Hopefully everybody will be okay and he'll be back at camp. So we've got that going on. And of course, we still have Zeke Elliott held hostage. We're still waiting for the NFL to come through and announce whatever they're going to do. Even though there's no evidence. Nothing. There's nothing there to arrest him, to charge him with, to fine him with. Now, if you want to say, we don't like you being in the news, okay. We're not finding you for domestic violence because right now there is no domestic violence. You can't prove there's any domestic violence. And in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. And so far, nobody's proved him guilty of domestic violence. So when people say he's being investigated for domestic violence or he's been charged with that, no, he is not. It's been looked at. They can look at me for domestic violence. They can look at you for domestic violence. Doesn't mean I did domestic violence or you did domestic violence. You can look at anybody and you can say that anybody did anything. And once they do, they have to check it out. Whether you're guilty or innocent, you still have to be looked at. So yes, you can investigate somebody for domestic violence. Unfortunately, the narrative that sinks in when you hear something over and over again, it becomes factual to you. If you hear 100 times that Zeke's being invested for domestic violence, you start thinking, man, that dude's a bad dude, man. He's a domestic violence guy. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we'll find out something sooner or later. I'm just hoping we'll have a team to go on the field. Now that we got Lucky gone, we still have Damian Wilson's situation. And right now, walked through this morning, he was one of the starters on the field between him, Hitchens, and Lee. Now, I've been telling you guys because Jaylen Smith, catastrophic knee injury. No matter how much you hear everybody talking about him being 100%, well, there's still a long ways to go. He was fitted for a new brace for that foot. And remember, he still got drop foot. That means he can't raise your foot up. And when you're talking about football, you got to have everything. This was a clip of him earlier. Yeah, you'll notice that he's running with a limp right now. That tells me he's still got a long ways to go, regardless of what you're hearing. I remember in 2013, I went to Redskins training camp, and I saw RG3, the year when he was supposed to be all in, because he had his whole Adidas campaign. And having a bad knee myself, I watched him, and I could tell he was favoring the leg. When he was trying to throw, he wasn't stepping into the throws. And you could tell, when you really get hurt, when you first come back from an injury, in your mind, you're always thinking about that injury, and you favor it. And you're not playing with reckless abandon. And more times than not, when you play like that, you get hurt again. Because in football, it's all reaction and instinct. If you're thinking about your leg, you're not thinking about your assignment. You're not thinking about that guy that's going to come through and clean your clock. See, and that's where Jaylen Smith is with that leg right now. It's still not 100%, and it's going to take time to get there. That doesn't mean he won't get there, but it's not going to be something that's going to happen between now and the Giants. It's not. So that's where things are different for Damian Wilson, why he hasn't been let go as opposed to Lucky is we need that guy. We need that guy, and he may be suspended for the first 2-4 games of the season, in which case we're going to need another guy to come in as well. So we're kind of in a rock and a hard place to start the season between David Irving, Nolan Carroll, Damian Wilson. That's 3 guys on the defense. And possibly, we don't know, we could have someone with Jourdan Lewis. So we could be looking at a rough couple of games on the defense where we're really shorthanded. So anyway, I've kind of talked continuously here, and I apologize, and I missed a lot of your comments. And let me get to some of them here. Good grief, they are flying through. The only reason they got to the Super Bowl was because of Julio, and that's all you got. The defense definitely let them down, and I think Atlanta is going to take a step back. I'm not trying to be a hater or anything, but I think that Super Bowl hangover is going to be part of the problem. And also, too, they played in a weak division last year, and they kind of got hot at the right time, and they had the things fall into their lap. Green Bay played really well against the Giants. They played well enough against us, but they were beat to hell by the time they went to Atlanta. And they really didn't have a shot at winning that game. And that is what it is. But I think Atlanta will be exposed next year. I think their defense is not going to be that strong, and I think that's going to be one of the teams that takes a step back. And if you looked at what we thought we had with Atlanta going into the season, nobody thought Atlanta was going to be a Super Bowl team. No. Most people had them picked to be in the basement of their division. I'm not sure we need to trade for a linebacker. I would actually wait and see some of the guys that may be put on the street as we start getting to some of these cuts of things that are out there. And there are a few veterans that you can bring in that may be able to plug some holes. The big key for our defense is going to be truly pass rushing. If we can get some good pass rushing, it's going to help the linebackers and the defensive backs as well. I think we would, Joshua. I think we would have beat Atlanta had we been there. It's just one of those things. Barry, I'm with you on the defense. I think the defense will play a lot better. Everybody talks about how we lost veteran guys. We lost so many defensive backs. But listen, when you look at the amount of turnovers, and turnovers are key in football. I mean, you have to have them. They're game changers. Brandon Carr was consistent. He didn't miss games. But he wasn't a playmaker. Morris Claiborne, the glass man, as I like to call him. Oh, Lordy. Claiborne would play good in spots, but more times than not, he was injured. You need a guy who can play more than the first 7 games and then come back for the playoffs and not do doggy-do. So, to me, getting these young guys who, to a point, have been playmaking guys, I'm okay with them having a learning curve this year out there because you know what you're going to get with Morris Claiborne if you brought Brandon Carr back. Same thing we've been having for the last 4 or 5 years. Not a whole lot. Nothing spectacular. Nothing, great. And you've got both of them a year older. Game changer. I don't know if we'll be a top 5 defense or not. I would love to see that. If our offense plays the way I think they're going to play, I think they have a good opportunity to be that way. Just the simple fact that our offense is going to keep the ball away from the other teams. Our offense can truly be a complete juggernaut that can control the clock, and that is key to helping our defense. If you look at our team last year, we were controlling the clock. We were grinding things out, and teams were having to play one-dimensional to try and catch up. That changed against Green Bay because we went out really lighting up the pass. We did. This is, again, one of those things with Jason Garrett that kind of bothers me. We went away from what normally works for us, which was running the ball more, and we decided to get cute, and we're going to come out and just really start firing the passes. Dez had a great game. Dak had over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the problem was we didn't hold on to the ball long enough, and our defense was exposed. And the longer they were out on the field, the easier it was for Aaron Rodgers to pick them apart. You can't do that with Aaron Rodgers. You cannot give that guy time. And that's what we gave him. When a guy doesn't have to buckle up his chin strap because he's not worried about getting hit, you got problems. Jessica Brown, do we need another tight end? Well, it's been the curse of Jason Witten. Since Jason Witten has come to the Dallas Cowboys, none of our tight ends since him have been able to really stick and stay healthy and really be impactful. You hear a lot of great things about Gathers. Hopefully he might be the guy who can kind of turn it around for our tight ends. I would love to see that. I love his size. I love his jumping ability and things like that. The question will be is, can he get it together and make that final transition from basketball to football? I'm not so worried about tight end as I am as our defense right now. I feel okay with Jason Witten. Father Time has not caught up with that guy. He's still going to be consistent, and I think we're okay there with all the other weapons that we have to go around there. We're not reliant straight on the tight end as per se some of the other teams. Our biggest problems, I think, are going to be on the defense right now because everybody's so young and because of shooting ourselves in the foot with David Irving being gone for the first 4 games and the other suspensions. That's the problems that really bother me, and that's where I think we need to focus, getting some extra help. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls. Show some damn respect. I'm not going to show any respect for the turnover machine. Not for the guy who has more turnovers over the last 10 years than anybody else. Yes, low cap. He does have 2 rings. Congratulations on that. But you can't say it was because Eli Manning got him there and won it. It's because of the defense they had. Why? They had a fantastic pass rush. It was that pass rush that kept them in there. The same reason why your team made the playoffs this year. And oh, by the way, you guys don't mention the fact that you made it to the playoffs. The only thing you Giants fans talk about is beating the Dallas Cowboys twice. So apparently, that's all you care about. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, that's another one of those VZP. Here it is. We're talking about Zeke Elliott, who's been accused of domestic violence. But here you have Joe Mixon. Nobody's talking about Joe Mixon. Nobody. And he's punched a woman in the face. You had Joe Clark with Seattle, who pled down to a lesser charge for domestic violence, drafted in the 2nd round. Nothing ever happened to him. How about the kicker with the Giants? That dude. Giants knew that he had been convicted of domestic assault. Had a whole diary about how he kicked his wife's behind. None of that ever happens. But when it's the Dallas Cowboys, of course that's different. Sven from Germany, how you doing tonight? I have to agree with you. Eli is done. And I don't think I agree. He won't be a top 20 quarterback. He is truly on the downhill slide. So, the Giants can think that they've got an elite quarterback, but sorry, you don't. And with that offensive line that you guys have, as well as the lack of a true running game, it's going to be rough for Eli in that offense. I know you got Brandon Marshall, but passing wasn't your problem. You had enough playmakers out there. So I think he may end up being more decisive than a guy that's going to help you win any more games. I think as you start looking at Shepard, Odell, and now Brandon Marshall, you only have so many balls to go around. And that means that offense is going to be predicated in passing the ball more, which means people are going to be pinning their ears back going through that Swiss cheese offensive line you got, and they're going to be making Eli Manning turn over the ball even more. But what do I know? I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. Cruz was a liability. Well, you can thank Joe Booth for that one, because Victor Cruz was never the same once Joe Booth photobombed him there in New York training camp in 2013, I believe it was. Yeah. We ought to see about bringing Joe Booth back to training camp this year again. We are a mess. Well, we've got a few guys that are in some trouble, but we still have a lot of great guys that are there ready to play. And I think we're going to be okay. And the funny thing is when you look around the NFL, I don't care what team, except maybe New England, everybody's got holes. Everybody has weak spots, and everybody has players that do stupid stuff. Unfortunately, because the Cowboys are the Cowboys, you hear about it with the Cowboys more. You think that Lucky's the only person that's ever gotten in trouble, or you think that Nolan Carroll's the only person who's been out drinking? You think Zeke Elliott is the only one who's out partying? Take a look around. It's just not covered like it is with the Cowboys. Because here's the truth of the matter. The Dallas Cowboys are the NFL. Think about this offseason if we weren't talking about Tony Romo. Think about this offseason if we weren't talking about Zeke and everywhere Zeke went. There would be nothing to talk about this offseason. Tom Brady is cool and all that. He's got the rings and stuff, but quite frankly, how much talk about New England is there? Tampa? The Rams. There really isn't that much to talk about with the other teams. Flat out. The Dallas Cowboys are exciting. Whether you love them or hate them, you're talking about them. You always want to know what's going on with Dallas. And the proof of the fact is the fact that the New York Giants had a good season last year, made the playoffs for the first time since the last time they went to the Super Bowl in 2012. The only thing they think about is we beat the Dallas Cowboys twice. Think about that. You didn't go to playoffs for 5 years. You finally get back, and your source of pride is beating the Dallas Cowboys. That's what it boils down to. Guys like Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Mike Farello, they have made their money by the Dallas Cowboys. Slandering players, expanding the story. There's a tape out of Dez Bryant, 10 times worse than Ray Rice. Everybody clicks and goes crazy. All you have to do is find an ex-Dallas Cowboy player who got in trouble. You put it out. Former Dallas Cowboy player, blah, 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 blah. It's like, who? I never even heard of that guy. But everybody's going to click on it. And right now, the sports are getting the clicks. That's what it's about. Eli Trash Manning. I like that one. I've got to remember that, Doodle Bob. That's a great one. The Redskins. Yes, the Redskins opened training camp on Wednesday in Richmond. And I might make an appearance down there, me and Joe Boo, and just check out the sights and sounds and see what's going on with the Redskins. You know, scout the Redskins and see what's going on. Someone needs to hurry up and donate $1,000. Did I miss something? The stream is going through real quick. I don't know about somebody donating $1,000. But wow, okay. Lucky is a damn fool. Here at training camp, when am I coming? I'm going to be coming out August 9th, 10th, and I'm going to be going to the Rams game in LA. How you doing, Jeffrey X? Not sure what those emojis are because it's a little far away. Where's the Eli Manning troll tonight? He's probably hiding out someplace. Probably realized that the end is near, and he only has a few more weeks before we kick their ass. So you guys have real fun here in the chats, I see. We need to cut everybody, not Cowboys Nation, from the stimulus package. Okay. What do I think about Marshawn Lynch in Oakland? Great PR move, great selling jerseys and all that, but I think Lynch is not going to have that great a season. Lynch was already slowing down in Seattle, and I'm sorry, old running backs don't get better; they just get older. It's a great story and all that, but I don't think he's going to be that big a factor. How about Taco? Well, so far, the first practices today, we had a morning walkthrough, and then this afternoon, we were just basically helmets and shorts. So we're not talking about any real hitting or anything. So it's still a little early to tell. We'll see how he goes and how he's adjusting and things like that. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have more news in the evening and stuff, and I'll go back through. Excuse me. Mark needs a refill. Who do I hate more? Redskins, Giants, or Eagles? God, that's a tough one. Gotta say the Redskins. I grew up here in D.C. with some of the nastiest Redskin fans. Because here's what bothers me about Redskins fans. They're like cockroaches. They talk all kinds of trash and everything. They talk about our dusty trophies just like the Eagles do, even though they haven't won anything since '91. So when you start talking about that, I mean, we won 3 Super Bowls, and ours have been way too long ago. But since the last time the Redskins won one, we won 3. Bottom dwellers of the NFL, like the Rams, Tampa Bay, even the Cardinals went to Super Bowls. Yet, they still think they have room to talk. And they truly are a dumpster fire because some of the moves they've made, I mean, they're historically bad moves. The whole deal right now with Kirk Cousins, are you kidding me? You pay that guy $45 million for 2 years. And they talked about how much we paid Tony Romo. Yeah. And they are either going to lose him and have to start over in quarterback, or they're going to pay him somewhere between $30 and $38 million next year. Yeah, for Kirk Cousins. Uh, Jeffries is elite. Okay, Holy Ways. Yeah, but you know what? Carson Wentz not going to be able to get him the ball. As much as you guys, and it's funny, I've got to get Tommy Eagle on here. Because Tommy Eagle, I always like to think of him like Charlie Brown. Because the Eagles fans, this time of year, they're out there pumping their chests. They're talking about their offensive line is the best in football. Lane Johnson's a genius. Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. And just like Charlie Brown, who lines up there every time and gets ready to kick that football, that's the Eagles fans. Because Lucy, or the NFL, always pulls that football away just at the last second. So, yeah. Eagle fans are hard too. Giants ones, I've got a great friend who's a Giants fan. He won't call you the week of when the Cowboys and Giants are playing. He won't call you during the game. He'll only call you if they win the game. That's the only time I hear from him. It's kind of like, you know what? I am a Dallas Cowboy fan that will talk the talk and walk the walk. Whether we win, lose, draw. If you kick my ass, I'm going to say congratulations, you beat the shit out of me. I'm going to be there, win, lose, or draw. And you Giant trolls, you Eagle trolls that are out there right now, if you beat us, I'll be here. If we beat you, I expect to see you right back here on Cowboys Avenue. Because there's nothing I hate worse. I have no problem with people talking trash. But if you're going to talk trash, don't talk it just when you're winning. Be man enough to come back in when you lose and say, hey, congratulations. Jackie Smith, nice to see you tonight, girlfriend. Snap Johnson, Green Dan. Okay. He's coming back this season to bet money on it. Okay. I hope we're talking about Jaylen Smith. I would love to see Jaylen Smith play real well, but right now, I don't think we're in a position where we can say, yeah, we can count on that guy. If we get anything out of there, it's fantastic. It would be fantastic, but you can't count on that. And yes, Sven, I have seen the Dak Prescott documentary that the Cowboys did. They did a great job on the story. And if you watch that and you can't root for Dak Prescott, there's something wrong with you, bro. He's a great story. That's the kind of guy you want to root for. And I hate to always use RG3 as an example, but there's guys out there that are just idiots and are just arrogant. RG3 had this whole aura of his own making where he felt like he was better than everybody else. Dak is a blue-collar guy. He's a guy who gets down and dirty, and he's not afraid to do anything and everything that it takes to win. He's going to work hard. He's going to be in your face if you screw up. But he's not going to act like he's better than you. And there's something that bothers me about guys that are like that. And I've had the privilege of being around a few football players. Done some commercial shoots and stuff with United Way and things, and had some opportunities to meet some guys, like Roberto Garza from the Bears, offensive lineman. One of the nicest guys you ever meet. Took everybody out for drinks and stuff like that, and was truly a great guy. Then you have some other ones, and one was a Cowboy, and I was truly disappointed in. Showed up 2 hours late for a shoot. Kids were there waiting in Miami in the sun all day. And when he showed up, he said, I got my massage in 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes. You're supposed to be giving us 2 hours for this commercial that was about you. You show up 2 hours late and leave all these kids disappointed, and you don't even want to sign an autograph for these kids that are looking up to you. So there's ones out there that are butts. That was RG3. Dak Prescott's the kind of guy who finds out about a police officer who gets killed and spends time with the family. Dak Prescott gets blamed for stuff or not getting credit when he plays well. You know, the whole autograph gate. Yeah. Immediately, when a shady organization says that there were some autographs that didn't look like they were made by hand, immediately it goes to Dak Prescott. Nobody's looked at the autograph company and said, maybe they're falsified by somebody else. Everybody immediately blamed him and started talking about he's going to lose his endorsements. So when you see a guy like that, a guy who is humble, who's confident, who works hard, you got to be happy, especially when you hear the story of where he came, where he was always doubted. I believe that this year is going to be that much better than last year for him. I believe that he is so focused in getting even with the 31 teams that didn't sign him, that didn't draft him, I should say, that overlooked him. All of these guys that say that he's just a dink and dunk quarterback, that, you know, he's leaving stuff on the field, Eric Davis. Guys who say he's not a top 10 quarterback. I have him about 14, even though the statistics bear out differently. All these people that say that the only reason why he is doing well is because he's got Zeke Elliott and a great offensive line, even though 3 other quarterbacks last year could only win 1 game out of 12. So, yeah. If you don't root for that guy and you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you need to find another team. Do I feel like Sean Taylor was the best safety ever? No. Sean Taylor was a headhunter. He was a good safety, but he was far from being the best safety ever. It's a sad, tragic story about him getting killed and everything else, but I don't believe he's as good as he's portrayed because of his death. And I believe if he had been alive, that his career wouldn't be looked at, and we wouldn't be talking about what's the best safety ever. Game changer. I hate Eagle fans. No rings and they talk shit. Well, that's true. Patriots, yeah. Steelers. Ed Reed was definitely a better safety. Ed Reed was really good. Okay. I'm going off on another 40-minute Dan rant. Okay, I didn't know I went on a 40-minute rant. Sorry about that. Lucky is not a winner, plain and simple. Well, I tell you what, the fact that Lucky thing went so fast. I mean, he's already on a plane and out of there. You've got his agent saying that there's proof that it wasn't him, it's mistaken identity, and blah 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 blah. We'll see if anything comes of that. I would love for it to be mistaken identity somehow, and that it wasn't him. Like I said, I wish him well. Trolls are hilarious tonight. Hey Sarah, how you doing? Ronnie Lott now. West Jr., I would definitely take Ronnie Lott over Sean Taylor anytime. You talk about a different era. Dude had them cut his finger off at halftime to keep playing. That's real. Hate the 49ers. Hated their arrogance. Hated playing against them. But you have to respect a guy that literally got his finger cut off. But then again, that's the kind of mentality that you used to have in football, where you would do anything and everything to stay on the field. You had Jack Youngblood go in there, tape up a broken femur, literally, and play. You know, football, I hate to say that it's wussied down some now, but it's not quite like it used to be. Forgive me. I don't want none of you football players, don't come kick my ass now. But I'm just saying, if you watch some of the old school stuff, it was brutal. Steve Atwater, another great one. Shout out to Steve Atwater. He was a hell of a safety. Dak is Russell Westbrook. Okay. Who's my most hated team besides division rival? Ooh, I'd have to say the Steelers. I hated the Steelers in the 70s because losing those Super Bowls to them. But everything else is really division. I can't say I'd say New England, of course, now because, New England has more Super Bowl rings than we do, and I'm just sick to death of seeing the freaking Patriots. And I got to tell you, their fans, forgive me, Fishful, I know you are a New England fan, and I plan to see you at the Super Bowl, but some of those New England fans, they are worse than Eagle fans. It was crazy. We had this whole charity thing with United Way and Character Playbook where they had a girl who won. This girl is a junior high school student. Her and her mother won a trip to the Super Bowl. So we're part of it. I'm taking pictures of it and everything for United Way and things like that. So we're talking about a girl that's like 13 years old. Behind them is a group of New England Patriots fans that are literally every other word is F this, kiss my that. And it was just like a cuss fest. It's like, dude, do you really have to do that? I mean, there's a 13-year-old girl sitting right in front of you. But, they were cussing when they were losing, and then they started cussing when they were winning. So it's just like, I don't want to see New England fans at the Super Bowl again, other than Fishful. Fishful's okay. Aaron Rodgers. God, I hate Aaron Rodgers. Wentz has already had his slump and can't get worse than with better players around him. Oh, be careful what you say there, Holy Ways. We've seen quarterbacks come out first year play really well and all of a sudden really, really digress. And if you look at how he was trending as that season went on, I don't know. And some of his play in the OTAs wasn't exactly quite there. Oh, damn. JP Drummer, wow, that's kind of harsh. Thank you, my Cowboys family. Appreciate everybody there. Dak is the next RG3. He's so overrated. Yeah, good luck with that one, Corey Bleach. Jose, I agree with you. I think Dez and Dak are going to be a fantastic combination this year. Well, we now know it's definitely Switzer. It's his job now as kick returner. And I think they're going to do a lot of different packages with Switzer because, again, he's a playmaker, and you've got to get playmakers on the field. Lucky sign with the Giants. Okay. I've been on here. That's possible. That would be funny because they already got Dwayne Harris, and Dwayne Harris is already saying the Cowboys are a better team than they are. Okay. Dak is Russell Wilson 2.0. Well, it's kind of interesting that you say that, Quentin, because when you look at what the talking heads were saying about Russell Wilson as well as Dak Prescott before they were drafted, they said Russell Wilson, if you need a backup quarterback for a couple of games, that he would be okay to have. But he's not going to be, an every game type of starter.
All right, that was Dez Bryant there with Jay Slater. Just looking at the players.
There you go.
Let me.
The Cowboys.
Oh, talking about tacos over there. Yeah, I can't wait to get to. Oh God, I can't wait to get to training camp, guys. I so wish I were out there right now. With the team. Oh God, I wish I were there right now. But I've got about 2 weeks before I'll go out there and be covering it for you guys. Hopefully, I can see some of you guys there and at the preseason game in Los Angeles. Eric, I would love to see Taco as Rookie of the Year or a Woozy as a rookie. Any of our guys, Rookie of the Year. Okay, Jackie, I like that comment. Taco sucks. Okay. Eli Manning will lead in 10 turnovers. Well, that's a pretty safe bet. Wow, Sven, thank you for joining in. It's 4 a.m. in Germany right now. Thank you for joining in and being part of the show. Juan, thanks for the shout out and the love right there, buddy. Cowboy Rick, thanks for the shout out from Alvin, Texas. Dak for MVP. Okay. Who's Taco? Okay. Dak will throw 20 picks. Good luck. Yeah, says Eli Manning, the one who knows about throwing 20 picks. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is with all the trolls because we've got a lot of them in here. But hey, like I said, you're all welcome to come in and be part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. God, Jessica Brown. I tell you what, I would be happy to play anybody in the Super Bowl. I would just hope we get to the Super Bowl. That is literally my dream, is to be at a Super Bowl covering the Dallas Cowboys. I thought that this year was going to be it, and it would have been so incredible had it been in Houston, because you would have had so many Dallas Cowboy fans that made that run south down the interstate to that Super Bowl. But it just wasn't meant to be. But Minnesota, it's going to be cold, but heck, I'd be happy to play anybody in the Super Bowl. In my opinion, Dez will never live up to his potential. What my opinion? Dez has had a pretty good career. He's had some injuries the last couple of years, but he's had some pretty great numbers that are out there. I think you're going to see a fantastic year from him this year. He hasn't been injured this offseason, so he's going in healthy. He's had time to actually work with a quarterback, because I think part of the problem we've had with Dez Bryant and the offense is our offense's growth has been stunted because of Tony Romo. And Romo sexuals, don't get on me, but listen to what I'm saying here. The last few years, Tony Romo has been recovering from injury. That means your starting quarterback is not playing in training camp. You need that time together to get all of the offense together, to get the plays together and things like that. Now, has the offense played well? Yes, the offense has played really well with Tony Romo basically doing a couple snaps here, a couple of practices there, and coming in shorthanded. But think if Tony Romo had been healthy all of the offseason and working with everybody. But over the last few years, it wasn't possible. So think about Dak Prescott going through all the OTAs, minicamp, getting all the reps as a starter, then him working out with the guys between minicamp and training camp. That repetition, those plays over and over and over again are going to pay dividend. They're going to have moves that they didn't have last year because Dak was the third string quarterback in the OTAs. Dak was thrust into the spotlight. They had to dumb it down the first half of the season and brought more and more and more as the season went on. But guess what? They really opened up the playbook now. Guaranteed, you're going to see a lot of things you didn't see last year. You're going to see Dez Bryant and Dak Prescott playing well together because now they know each other. And I think they're going to take off where they left last year. And I think you're going to see Dez Bryant have his best career year this year. Now, I may be wrong, but if he stays healthy and Dak stays healthy, the sky is the limit on those two. My opinion on Jaylen Smith. Jaylen Smith is still limping. I showed a little clip earlier where he's running drills. He's come a long ways, don't get me wrong, but he's not going to be able to be a starter right out the gate. It may be halfway through the season before that foot is really healed enough for him to get started. It may end up being not until next year. So if you get anything out of him, great. It's like icing on the cake, but you can't count on that right now. And that's where, like I said, when looking at the clips from him at practice, with him still having the drop foot, with them still have to fit him with the new brace, you're not going to get a lot right off the bat. He's not going to be a starter right off the bat. Oh, Eli Manning troll just came in late. Oh, okay. Well, welcome, Eli Manning troll. I hope you're wrong, Eli Manning, that he'll never completely recover from that. I would love to see him, but it's going to be tough. Good night, Sarah. Great. Thank you for joining in, Jackie. Snap. Oh my God, why does time fly so fast when we're doing the show? Daniel, really? Zach Martin is not going anywhere. Zach Martin is about to get paid big time. Leave it to you to talk about cake. Okay. Eli, kick yourself everywhere. Okay. Norman sucks. Dak is friendly fire. Okay. Well, I hate to say this, but this hour has literally flown by again. But the great thing is, guys, football is back. Next Thursday night, be it it's the Hall of Fame game, it's actually football. Well, kind of football. It's a Hall of Fame game, but it's still. They're going to be wearing helmets, shoulder pads, and they're going to be kicking off. They're going to be passing. They're going to be hitting. They're going to be tackling. Football season is back, and I am so happy that I have all of you guys to spend and talk it with. We, of course, will be bringing any breaking news on the Dallas Cowboys. I don't care where I am, if I'm at work, if I'm in the bathroom, if I'm outside in the backyard, whatever. If there's some news on the Dallas Cowboys, we will be bringing to you here. And as always, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, because you guys make me want to be better and better at this. And we're going to continue to keep growing. We're going to keep continuing to fix the setup here and continue to expand. And we're going to be seeing you guys at different events. So, as always, guys, I want to thank you for joining in tonight. We'll be back here on Friday night. Hopefully, we'll have Law Nation in the house. Hopefully, we'll have good news on the Dallas Cowboys. We'll say a prayer for Jourdan Lewis' case tonight. And I will see you guys soon.